Hi. Uh-oh. um, I haven't done a live in a while, I guess. At least not in this aspect. So bear with me as I'm adjusting things. It kind of just, I guess it was raining for about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or so. And I was getting a little nervous about the connection. And then, of course, as soon as I start talking, my little critter decides to start coming into the space. So if you see him, you know who it is. It's my cat. Okay. Um, so hi, it's been a while. Happy New Year 2023. Um I I've been doing some things. I've been doing things. So and then I've been thinking about things too. Um I am not a New Year's resolution sort of person, only because I'll give you some backstory. So before I go any further, let me move my computer out of the way because, he wants to be a part of all things that I'm doing. And yeah, he's a mess. But anyway, so this is the Body Electric Supplement now Monica. On this channel, we take care of our minds, our bodies, our spirits. We take care of what we need. The supplement is, how can I best describe the supplement? It's the it's the effort you put in, you know? As much as we want things in life, there's a process, And I don't think most people are aware of them not being aware of there's a process. And so when I talk about things like manifesting, there's so many people who think that it's about saying some magic words, affirmations, and then it's supposed to show up. But in the meantime, they're not doing the what we call the inspired action. So I kind of want to do a little bit of, like I said, journaling, some inner work around that, and give you an opportunity to see what it's going to look like. Okay. So I have coached people in a lot of different ways. I still teach elementary school. However, in the last 30 to 60 days or so, I'm not quitting, but I've really been thinking a lot about how I can start making transitions into other things. And I've been lucky to work in a school that has been amazing. They take care of us, and it's kind of a trap. So, and what I mean by that is that, yeah, because there are other schools in the United States that are just kind of garbagey. They don't treat their teachers well. Of course, the parents don't they don't treat teachers well. And it's kind of like that whole idea of, well, I've got, you don't want to fall back on the default. And that's one thing when it comes to me as a manifester, and looking back at my own life, I've always been a manifester. And if you take a look at a couple of my other videos, I've done some sessions with creative people during the shutdowns, just to try to give them some insights on some things. And what I ended up realizing back then is some people just aren't ready, and they have not addressed the things that they need to address, basically cleaning house emotionally, mentally, in order to go and get these things out of life. There are some people who are literally imprisoned by their past, or at least how they interpreted their past. They are imprisoned by the fear of change. They are imprisoned by the people they surround themselves with and their mentalities. So there's a lot that I would like more people to realize what it's going to have to take to really manifest. Okay. And I know that word gets overused a lot, but I like the dictionary form. Manifest means to make happen, to make appear, not force, but to allow it to be. Okay. And like I said, I've been a natural manifester pretty much my whole life. And there was just all these little things that I would do that led me to where I am today, that a lot of people, like I said, they don't realize that that's what it's going to have to take, right? So let me give you some backstory. So I grew up on a farm. I grew up with animals, insects, and amphibians, and all that other stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is, other than my family, I didn't have outside influences like friends, um, peer pressuring me into things that didn't make sense. So, of course, I went to school, went to public school, and there's that. But then it also kind of shows the contrast at the same time. I'm not saying, look, I had television, we had television. Back in the 80s, we had satellite before most people had satellite. So I'm not saying I was poor. We just lived out in the country. So we had access to the HBOs and the Cinemax and all that other stuff. So it's not like I didn't have access to media or the radio or anything like that. It's just my peers, right, that I didn't have access to, that in a way I thought it was kind of a bad thing sometimes. But then I realize now how that played out for me. Okay. Yes, I got ridiculed growing up. I got ridiculed by my own brothers. Okay. So, but it also taught me to be resilient. It showed me that whatever it is I'm doing, I got to double down, knowing I know me, and they, as in, at least in this case, peers, were trying to tell me what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to wear my hair, how I'm supposed to dress. Like, oh, you're not in style, ha ha ha, this and that. I was like, I honestly wonder where some of those people are today. I kind of stayed in touch with a few people from high school. I mean, it got better definitely in high school. By then, I was like, I really don't care. But it makes me wonder where those people are today. And I do see, like I said, a couple of them on Facebook. And quite honestly, they're struggling. And I'm not saying I'm a success story either, but I see a lot of struggle that didn't have to happen, because people are looking and listening to other people to the point where you don't develop your own sense of awareness. And that's one of the things when it comes to manifesting. So if you're asking yourself what is it that you really want? Not what you think you should have, not what other people are saying in order for you to be successful, you should have. You really need to think about, what is it that you actually want? What do you really want? And that's one of the things where I gotta, I guess, reach for it in all the lookings for all my journals. I was like, my inner work journal is right there. I gotta reach for it. But then I have my I guess it's called life book journal here that we're gonna front load success with. And that's the thing, you gotta front load success out here. I want to give you some prompts to work on inner work. There's a difference between just saying you're going to manifest versus really reflecting inside of yourself. Inner work is something that is super helpful. I feel like it's necessary. In fact, if anything, I'm going to be teaching my students, and they're in second grade, how to journal. Because the moment you start exploring the inner world inside of you, the inner universe inside of you, you start to really notice what you want in life. You know, you really start to notice the things that are important to you, that are meaningful for you, what's worth fighting for. And I don't mean fight physically, but what is worth trying to achieve, you know? So inner work is important. And let me give you a prompt. Number one, and in fact, luckily, again, I have my laptop here. I can type it in also, just in case, for those people out there who, I might actually put it in comments. I don't necessarily like to have my chat running for all the people, but I will put it in the chat for now. So first, first inner work prompt. Now, I'm not going to necessarily do this one because I pretty much know what I want. This one is about self-awareness. This one might take a few days, so that you might not be able to do this one right away. It's about self-awareness. What are your strengths? What are your strengths and what are your passions? Okay, so that is a prompt. Okay, and I'll number it. What are your strengths and what are your passions? Now, I'm not saying it has to be your job. What are your strengths and what are your passions? Okay. It's just something to help you get started in this process of really seeing who you really are. And some years ago, I do have a scrapbook. I should have pulled it out, but I need to also link to you probably one of the other sessions that I did have my notebook, my scrapbook out. And it was a reminder for me of the things that I know how to do, that come easily to me, the things that inspire me, those things that are my passions. And I don't know, I think I was probably going through some things at that time. But when I opened it up, it was almost like, who is this person? This person's awesome. I was like, wait, that's me. You know? So sometimes we need reminders, you know? And that's what this particular prompt is for. So I'm scooching because, again, I want to try to reach for this journal. And my cat is about to come back. He's naughty, y'all. So, all right, so I'm reaching for my journal. And we also have some royalty-free music here to enjoy, so you can get started. I'll give us, look at the time, about 2 minutes to do that prompt. If you have the if you have something that's coming up, sometimes you just write until things start happening for you. All right, 2 minutes. Okay. So hopefully you at least started. You can always go back, so it's not, an ever forever thing. Um, so that's the first prompt. I am gonna put it in the description. There's gonna be a lot going on there, but it's necessary. So after, hopefully, you are thinking about what are your passions, what are your strengths. The very next thing, this is my small inner work journal. I made a little thing. I made a little graph. I need to um, actually make an infographic with that, and that leads to the when I get to the other parts of it. But I called it my shadow work, which it kind of is. It's you got to go into the dark areas of who you are, because that's the only way you're gonna fix why you're not doing what you want to do. Right? So um I think I'll leave this one to be last. But the next question, I want you to think about what do I need to change, um or challenge. I don't want to say change. What do I need to challenge, what I believe about myself? So I want to keep it positive. However, that's why I did the first question that way. But I don't want this to be a pity session. I want this to be, if there's something that's coming up for you that's really bothersome, and again, I will use myself as an example. I do procrastinate. And in fact, what's so funny is, like, I kind of didn't even plan on doing this live tonight, and this is the reason why. Because I was going to be focusing on getting ready for the week as a teacher. And what I was feeling was some pullback. I wasn't feeling what I needed to feel to actually do that work. And even over the Christmas break as a teacher, you connect with family and stuff like that. You see people and you see these memes going around. Like, people talk about, there was a meme about teachers getting this time off because they realize how stressed we are. uh in Again, this is in the American school system. And but yet, and what made me think about that is, like, okay, so y'all recognize that we're out here first responders and doing all this stuff for kids, and it's not because we're doing it for the money, I assure you, okay? But yet the appreciation is still just not there. You recognize, the masses, they recognize that teachers do a lot, but they don't seem to follow through with what they can do to make our jobs easier, right? And I really was thinking about that, and I was like, I do like my job, but I don't want to be that person that will be like, well, I need to sacrifice myself. We're not doing that in 2023, okay? I stopped kind of doing that 2021. And then this last year, 2022, a lot of things started changing for me. A lot of good things, a lot of not so good things, but they needed to happen, like some challenges that needed to happen. And I welcome it, because if you don't have any change, then then you're going to be stuck, forever. And I don't want that. So when I started thinking about, I literally was going to go into the building, my classroom this weekend. I was like, you know what? I don't want to. I don't want to. And I've been trying to work on setting up systems that I can work from home, that I can get some work done, school work for school, for students from my house, but then there's still things I have to physically be there for. And I was like, I really don't want to go, because this weekend I actually had other things going on. And again, most of you know that I'm also a singer-songwriter. Actually, I was that before I became an elementary school teacher. And I've been trying to work on an album recording. I still actually have not performed as Nerd Queen in that regard, but I do have a regular gig I do perform in. And I kind of was missing the boat on that a little bit, because part of it is that, you know, I'm a vendor for an entity. And then there's like my other bands I'm in. My other band, we released a CD. So, that's cool. But then I was like, I really have got to work on my thing, my singer-songwriter thing. If the world is opening back up, I want to go back into doing that. I was doing it before, yes, teaching and doing that, okay? Yes, both. It's doable. I'll show you how. Like, seriously, I figured out some things over the years. But anyway, so I've the drive, and I don't mean little, driving, but I mean like the motivation was not there for me to go into that building. Yesterday I spent it Friday night, okay, just Sunday. Friday night we performed, my band. Saturday I went to a writing group for writing bios. I used to write for a music magazine. I'm telling you, I used to do stuff. And I was talking with this person that I keep meaning to catch up with, and it's also, it's time for me to work on my other thing. I've got a vlog I want to start. This whole reason we need to be living our dreams, and in some form of fashion, I had been doing that. Again, back to all of why I'm doing this. I've surrounded myself with certain people who are on top of it. They're doing it. They're making it happen. And that's another thing when it comes to, and we'll touch on that again in a minute. Let me write a note to myself. You want to move away from people who make you feel bad, and you want to invite in people who are going to be helpful. And I'm not saying using people, helpful, who, like, if you see my vlog when I started, and I'll link it and everything. I've already done one interview and I'm about to do another one tomorrow. So that was a part of it. It's like, had I not pushed myself to just go to this writing session and see this person who, again, I've been meaning to catch up with, she's out there doing it too, okay? So I want to interview her and spotlight her. And I think it's important that more people start to see that your manifestations can actually happen and that they're doable. And that's the whole point of the vlog that I'm starting. So, yeah. You want to move away from those people who are like, oh, you're too old, or, you look a certain way, or it's like, that's their world. That doesn't mean it's you, okay? That's not you. So you have to start cultivating the atmosphere, the best possible atmosphere for you to be able to be successful. And this is, again, what I teach the little kids. It's like, look, you got to work on what you need to be successful. And I can give you tools and things like that, but just be aware. What is it that you want? What are your strengths so far, and what can we work on to help you get there to what where you want to be? So next prompt is kind of in that vein. It's like, what are those challenges? And again, I'll put it in the chat for now. What are those challenges? Or what do I need to challenge? What do I need to push back against? About yourself. And I can just say I procrastinate. Like I literally did film that first interview back in the spring. It's almost a year. Okay. So I have it. I just need to get it going. So, and then, yeah, just a bunch of other things. And I literally was like, I'm just going to go do, get back into the routines of being a teacher, elementary school teacher. Meanwhile, I was like, wait, I need to get my life going here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that second prompt in the chat for now. I'll put it in the description later on because I don't do the live chat thing. Um, so yeah, what what do I need to challenge, and as far as like your own personal beliefs about yourself? So think about those bad habits. It's time to get real out here. Okay, I procrastinate. That's one of them. What is one of yours or two of yours? And yeah, you can make a list, but don't don't get too crazy. So I will again give you, looking at the time, about 2 minutes to work that out, and I'll type, like I said, type it into the chat. Okay. Okay. All right, so that's 2 minutes. So again, you can always go back to this. So please don't again think that you have to have everything filled out for this. This is something that you might need to be thinking about. Maybe you've never thought about this before. Maybe you really need to go deeper than, what you think, depending on what it is you're striving for, you know. The next question, actually, let me, again, I am going to say this one. So what do I need to become? And what that question is about, say, for example, you want to be a semi-pro golf player, okay? And there are people of all ages. They go semi-pro. They really do. So this is something that I guess most people could probably imagine actually happening. So I don't want to just pick something super random. So, what do you need to become semi-pro golf player. You need to know how to play golf, right? You need to have the proper equipment to play golf. You might need, you will need a place to play golf, have a membership or find a place. So this is what I mean by, like, you really have to just start thinking these things through. And again, you'd be surprised where a lot of people, they don't even think about this kind of stuff because of the blocks, inner blocks that's holding them back. Before they even get to number 2 that I told you about, before they get to number 2, after number 1, they're like, well, it's whatever. Like, and that's another thing that really made me want to go live tonight, is because yesterday at the writer session, there were musicians there who were about my age, a little bit older. It was mostly people in the Americana field and bluegrass. I don't necessarily do that kind of music, but all of it still applies. And that's what's so crazy about it all. So one of the people that I ended up talking to after the session, he was, I'm sure he's an amazing performer. He's been doing it for years. And me just offering some tips and things like how to get out there in social media and how to, set yourself up for success, going to different conferences and going to different, again, more meetups and things like that. It just seemed like he was just fighting to stay stuck, right? So I was offering things to help him start to be more successful, to start really taking what he claimed that he wanted more seriously. But yet he would say things like, oh, well, so I mentioned like the International Folk Alliance, and that's free. Okay, so you don't have to pay for it to be a part of that organization where you can start, networking with people and things like that. And he was like, I'm already a music person, so I've taught music for many years in my day. But anyway, so one of his responses was, I play bluegrass. So, but then I told him, I was like, bluegrass is folk music, right? So it's like the music scholars out there will consider bluegrass folk music, in that it is music of the people. Okay, by definition, that's what bluegrass is. It's music made by the people for the people. This is not commercially, historically. I can just go on forever with the history of music. But anyway, so he literally was like, well, why should I join the International Folk Alliance for free when I play bluegrass? This is what I'm talking about, y'all, okay? This is the kind of thing that I deal with certain clients and students. And that's kind of also why I'm really starting to just be more focused on people who are really ready, and not people who say they're ready and they are not ready because they are too busy having those mental, emotional blocks that they say out loud, and they don't actually want the help. In fact, there's, as I said earlier in this video, you want to front load success. He was front loading his failure. Let me say that again. He was front loading his failure. Meanwhile, let me drink some kombucha while you think on that. So, how often do people front load their failures by talking about their obstacles and their blocks? And this, look, I'm a black woman of a certain age, okay? He's a white man. He was talking about his blocks, and I'm trying to tell him, look, you need to get over yourself. So I don't want to show you the brand, but it is kombucha, I promise. See, you probably already know by the labeling anyway. But yeah, he's like trying to almost fight me, debate me. Like, and that wasn't the only thing he had said. You know, I don't want to get too much more into that conversation, but like, it stuck out to me. Like, wow, you really want to fail, don't you? You know, you really just want to fail, and like, why are you here? You know, and he's not the only one. I've known people like this, and I've kind of had to walk away from some people this last year and do it with love, because I'm just like, look, y'all, I can't keep holding your hand and keep trying to convince you. Either you do it or you don't, but I can't be around you to do, do that work for you. And so, yeah, I've had to let a few people go. You may have already seen a few of my videos. I need to, and that's part of what I'm got my laptop out here for right now, is to go ahead and finish packaging up the course that I do have about moving away from toxic people. There's some people who, no matter what, they're just gonna just want to. They just want to be. They just want to fail, and they're okay with failure. It makes me sad when people put so much energy into failing, so that I don't know. I don't know, So there's that. Okay? So I'm going to type in this last, well, it's not going to be the last one because I have another one. So, what do I need to become? So my example of that semi-pro golf player, there are things you actually do need. You need to know how to play the game. You need to have your equipment. You need to have a place to play. You probably need to get yourself some membership to like some groups and things like that. Things that can easily be done. Okay, it's not that hard. Okay, so what do I need to become? ... Okay, typing it in the chat, and then I'll give you about a couple minutes, about 2 minutes to work that out. Okay, or who do I need, not what. Who do I need, or what? I'll do a slash because okay. All right, 2 minutes, and again, you can always go back to this. In fact, this might be just the work you need to do. And you know what? I like to do things in a month cycles. And I have a gift for those folks out there. um, let me trying to navigate this particular computer with the different windows is weird for me. So I'm still kind of like, oh, what do I do? So I one of the nerdy things, of course, I did was make a calendar over the break. It was kind of cool. It was kind of fun. So I have a Canva account, so I can kind of start, I've been using it and I like it a lot. But yeah, so I'm making a calendar, and I'm making a calendar for me as a musician too. And I told one of my friends, and he's like, really? I was like, it's not that kind of calendar, sir. But yeah, so I made a calendar just because, I don't necessarily just watch TV and all this other stuff. I was like, let me just make a calendar, listen to some podcasts, make a calendar. But anyway, um, yeah, I'm gonna offer that calendar to some lucky folks out there. So if you're watching, good for you. You get to have my calendar, okay? Um, I don't normally timestamp my videos, but I might this time around just because I want to make sure people like look. I want to see people win in 2023. Okay, I'm not out here trying to just make a buck or whatever. So I want people to live their best life. I need more people happy around me. Like, that's my motivation, quite honestly. If you really want to know the truth, like, I'm tired of being around mopey people all the time who are miserable, who dread Mondays and all this other stuff. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. It's hard. So I'm gonna, like I said, I don't normally timestamp stuff, but I'm gonna offer the calendar and let people know that it's something for you can get. Okay. um I might make a short of it too, and that's a part of the things that I know I need to be doing. So these are the prompts, and I'm going to of course put them in the descriptor. I don't, like I said, I don't do the whole leaving the chat up thing. I don't know, I just don't like doing that. So if you have any questions, follow-up questions, always feel free to put them in the comment section, and that would be awesome. But anyway, so in the calendar that I made, it has some Easter egg nuggets in it. Some links to some of my other videos. I think I was still working on it. I don't know, I have to double check that. Or it can be, if I put it somewhere where I can just continue to have it live, I can always just update it whenever. So, but if I were you, would make a copy, obviously, because I'm not gonna have an interactive calendar where people are writing on my calendar, right? So yeah, it's gonna be a calendar. It's got some links in it. It's got some things on it. Um, it'll be where you can make a copy for yourself in Google and make use of it, have fun. But anyway, so I like to set my goals per month, and I got that idea from when I am doing my biohacking. Again, most of you know that, when you set up new habits, you got to give it time to run its course, give it time to settle in. I've learned that over the years as a teacher, it takes a child of a certain age hearing something 23 times before it finally starts sinking in. But this is the caveat: they have to be listening. And they got to be paying attention. So even if you said it 23 times, doesn't mean that they were actually listening. Yeah. So there's that. So yeah, so you got to give yourself some time to let the habits sink in before you start assessing and making all that stuff. So when I'm doing certain supplements, let's see here. Like, let me grab something. Like, one of my staples is like milk thistle. Love it. But yeah, so if I wanted to start something new and I was doing the research on it and I was like, oh, I don't know, is it gonna really help me, work for me? You gotta give it some time, right? So the journal that I made is kind of like that. And that's also why I like to gear a lot of the things I do around the moon phases. There are old wives' tales or wise women tales of, you don't cut your hair during the full moon, you do it during the new moon because it makes your hair grow longer. I don't know, stuff like that. So new moon, new beginning. So I usually wait till the new moon, release during the full moon, and reflect. Okay, on is this working or is this not? And do I need to adjust? Now, the only way it's not going to work is when you quit and you just like, all right, it's not going to work. Because that's not how life is. Sorry, y'all. Okay? You actually have to work work your magic, work the manifestations. Okay? So, yes, you've got your new writing prompts here. I can now, I guess, speak for myself. There's some things I need to be doing as a singer, songwriter, performer. I've been doing the research on social media. I've been a performer since 2001. I'm out there on the interwebs as who I am, my moniker. So I started thinking a lot about how I can help this channel, how I can use my other persona to benefit this channel, and how it can benefit my other things, right? I already have history under that other moniker. And I just need to start working, like I say, working the algorithms a little bit more, finessing them to get what it is I need, right? I want to help people. I really do. That's the only reason why I started teaching, because I want people to be happy. Like, I mean, for the most part, I'm not saying I'm perfectly happy, but I'm more content than most people, I think. I have come to certain understandings that most people haven't. And I need more people around me that I know that can, that is ready. I'm not trying to force people to do this kind of thing, but people who are ready for real change. Not pretend change at the beginning of this, at the, New Year's resolution. I promise to stop eating snacks. I want to lose 10 pounds, but then you don't have a plan around it. So this is what I'm talking about now. So this is beyond the journaling prompts. These are the habits, or I'm sorry, these are the steps for a real manifestation. I have it on my board over here that I'm gonna turn. My cat's asleep now. Have it on my board that, you've got to know yourself, and that's where, just everyday journaling is going to come in, or if, get a habit of doing that, so that you can scan when things aren't going well, things are going well, and keep yourself motivated. And yeah, believing in yourself. Now, this is where the blocks do come in. When people have things, or they say certain things, or they believe certain things, and those are the blocks from your manifestation. So, I'm going to go back to that example of that guy. Like, I don't know what his blocks are, but he definitely showed some blocks, okay? The whole, like, the semantics of wording. I'm like, sir, if you actually knew what the real definition of folk music is, this organization is just right for you. But yet you wanna, like I said, fight me on the difference between bluegrass and folk music. That's the hill you're gonna challenge me on. That's a block. Saying things like, and look, as much as I work as a teacher, and I was literally about to go on into lesson planning and all this other stuff, like like normal, like before the shutdowns. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I was doing it, but I was doing it. But again, I do know how I was doing it. I'm going to tell you now. So you got to find ways to double down on how one task can help more than one thing. Okay? How a task can help you push along the process of your manifestations. And a lot of people ask me, how are you in 3 bands? And this is before I stopped teaching guitar now, at least for now. But a lot of people ask me, how do you give music lessons and teach general education during the day and be in a band and all this other stuff? This is how I was doing it, okay? So, first of all, it was location that helped me. So, the school I work in and the music center that I was working in literally is like 2 miles away from each other. It's one thing. Location. I wasn't doing any home visits. Like I started giving music lessons before I started working at this particular school. So it all was like coming together for me. So, but both places were close. I was figuring out when I was giving lessons, of course I would give, most of my students the basics on playing guitar, and guitar, piano, voice, that kind of thing. So I had mostly guitar students. So I would give them the basics on how to play guitar, form, and all this other stuff, as in how do you sit, how do you hold your stuff, that kind of thing. And that actually helped me as a performer to really think about, oh yeah, how did I get to this part? And it gave me a way to start thinking about how can I collapse the time for this student that I didn't get to have. Like I learned through books. I did have a teacher for a short amount of time as a guitar student, but mostly I just, once I started learning music theory in high school and college, I kind of was like, I just went ahead and motivated myself to do these things. I talked about that in another journal, a live journal thing. I gave myself, I think when I was 14, the goal of writing one song a month. Again, monthly kind of things. But yeah, so figuring out how to collapse the learning process for new students so that they can stay engaged. And like I said, I was close to both places, so the driving wasn't an issue for me. Then, depending on the student, I would pick their music for them. And this was also when I was kind of starting up the other band. And the other band is kind of like, we do covers. And it's mostly like country music or like the blues, old time music, folk, early rock. And it's very formulaic but anyway, I started to realize, oh yeah, a lot of these have the same like chord progressions. There's some common like we already know 1-4-5. If you play the blues, 1-4-5. That's it. That's rock and roll. That's country music. That's all of it, And so that's what I started teaching them. It's like, learn these 3 chords, learn these next 3 chords together, right? And then learn these next 3 chords together. Then I would show them, you know how to play at least a dozen songs now. And they're like, what? No. It's like, yeah, you do. And show them. And then they're like, whoa. It's like, yeah. So this is what I mean by you got to start thinking, how can you maximize whatever one task you're doing on how it's going to help you? So that helped me pick up songs for my other group that were playing, like I said, country music, early rock and roll music, the blues. I'm able to pick up, like, literally somebody can give me a song from, I don't know, like early rock, 1-4-5. That's it. Okay. Tell me what the chords are. I already know how to play it. There you go. Done. Okay. Just practice, the whatever, the theory. That helped me strengthen my craft as a musician, teaching somebody else how to learn how to play in the first place. Having both places less than 2 miles away from each other. And I also kind of really, because I was working for myself as a music teacher, I would schedule it, schedule the days I'm available around what is comfortable for me. It's like I wasn't going to do it just whenever and however. Now, there was a time I was doing that. just taking whatever day that they're available, and it was running me ragged. So when you learn better, you do better. Yeah. So I started saying, okay, I'm only available on these days and at these times. Make it work. Okay. If you can't, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say for you. I guess you're not the right fit for me. Okay. You got to make it work for you. Whatever it is you're trying to do. Again, that's back to knowing who you are. Know yourself. Know your limits. Know how you want this to work out for yourself. And that's a lot of front loading for success, you know, and then just execute. Let it happen. Let it be. Okay. So again, let me look over at my chart. So I feel like front loading and all the planning is the motivation, because once you actually sit down with your calendar and you decide, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's the kombucha. And once you decide, then the execution starts happening. Then next thing you know, you're doing it, right? So I think that's really the key that a lot of people are missing. It's like, y'all, you actually have to sit down and do the things, like plan it out. Make that time. So there's a couple of books out there that could help. The one book that's popping up for me right now is Atomic Habits. And I'm trying to remember what they called it. It was like compounding or like grouping tasks together. And I think the example that they gave was like, if you're going to start a new exercise routine and you want to do it in the morning, wear your workout clothes to bed. You're going to sweat in them the next morning anyway, right? So that way you have no excuse. Just get up, go work out, right? Carry your shoes with you to work if you plan on walking after work. Your runners or whatever, bring them with you. They're in the car. What you gonna do? I live in Atlanta. There's a lot of rush hour traffic, and I'm just like, look, I'd rather go for a walk instead of sitting in traffic, right? You got to figure it out. Okay, make it work for you. Really start, just thinking about how badly do you want this, and how are you going to maneuver around to getting it. So yeah, Atomic Habits is a good one. And again, I can't think of any others that are popping up for me right now, but the writing it down, I do know you are 42% more likely to accomplish your goal if you actually write it down, okay? Versus you're just saying it, okay? Doesn't feel real unless you put it down on paper. That's, again, back to the journaling. Back to the journaling, back to the planning. It does not seem real to you unless you're actually going to just say, this is it. This is going to be, and then going back, thinking about, if you were to have this, if you did have this life, I want to go back to that semi-professional golfer example. If you did have that life, what does that life look like? And then vision it out. That's what that life looks like. If obviously, you train, then train. Maybe you need to be eating a certain kind of diet, then maybe you need to be eating that kind of diet. Maybe you need to apply for sponsorships, do that research, or find somebody that knows how to do that research, or join a group of people who are semi-professional golf players. You don't have to do this alone. This is another beauty of this wonderful world that we live in right now. You don't have to do this alone, okay? There are people that can help you reach your goals. But if that feeling inside of you, the tools are here, y'all. I'm just saying, the tools are here. If there's some kind of hesitancy or not inside of you, that's the block that you've got to work on yourself. Now, that's the work that you've got to do. And that's the work that we all have to do. It's the block of the training that people have told us over the years that, oh, this is hard. This is what I talked about with that guy yesterday. It's like you watch certain movies about being a famous country star, and you see that rags to riches, and then you see them destruct because got into alcohol and drugs and stuff. That's a message. I'm not saying that didn't really happen to them, but it's also teaching the masses, beware, don't do this kind of thing, because you're going to end up being like, in the gutter and a loser and all this other stuff. But what about those who are successful? What about those who live the full, exciting life as a musician? They don't want to put movies out like that. No. But they're out there. Exposure is such an amazing thing. Like, in it, and I mean that for kids, I mean that for everybody. I really think there should be more examples of what people want. And that's why, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're looking for how to get your life out of the rut that you're in to live the life that you actually want to live. And you need to be watching, not envying, not just sitting there taking it in and then feeling sorry for yourself. You need to be studying your life. Put the energy back into you. Because I seriously, like I said, it's an hour in, and I probably need to stop. But yeah, I was going to spend most of my day lesson planning for the week. That's putting too much energy into somewhere where I love what I do, don't get me wrong, but I also want to front load success for my future, because I don't imagine myself doing this job to 65, okay? I don't want to teach in a classroom until I'm 65 years old for a retirement that might not even be there for me by the time I get there, okay? I've learned how to make money on my own. And I just need to reestablish a lot of these things that I learned over the years, put them back in play, pick up on the new things that have been going on since I've, started back working a 9 to 5, and really start getting ready to transition into my next season. Okay? I joined a group this afternoon, and I do want to give a shout out to Halisi and her husband about, we all need help. We all need support, And I'm grateful that I've been that kind of person that I'm okay with, I don't want to say failure, but with mistakes, and what they're calling the L's, take the L's as lessons, and they're lessons. You're not going to get it right the first time. I know, you're not. You're not going to get it right the first time. If anything, you're going to learn something from it. Maybe it won't work for you. Like, everybody's different, okay? Of course, I can sit here and tell you how to do a certain thing, but I can only tell you what really works for me or is working for me. But unless you get out there and get used to taking some L's out there, as they say, you really have got to get out there. I teach people and tell people, maybe you don't need to speak to others in your current world, about your ambitions, because they're too stuck in where they are too. We are a combination of the 5 people we spend the most time with. That's another reason why I'm like, I'm ready to leave, because I think a lot of my coworkers are a little toxic right now. Okay, I get it. I don't want to be around them all day though, because they're burned out. Okay, I like teaching, but I don't want to be around burnt out people, because then that will make me burned out. I don't want to be that, So you really have to think about who you tell these aspirations to. Find people who are actually making those steps, those strives, striving to reach those goals really and truly, and not just, saying them. Don't be a liar to yourself. Don't be a liar to yourself. So I had been subscribed to My Black Utopia for a while, because I've been watching because since I was young, I think I remember even in my 20s before it got popular, I wanted to just move to Belize, you know? It's like, and come back as close to the States, is an easy flight, go hang out in Belize, come back and hang, visit people like you visit people across the country. It's like fly over the Gulf of Mexico and just chill. I've always wanted that, something like that, or Greece. I'd been looking, like I said, over the years when I was younger, like, ooh, most Americans do retire in Greece, and it's like, it's a beautiful country, and things like that. Now, that was what, at least 10, 15 years ago when I had those thoughts. And now, of course, countries have changed and things have changed a bit. But I still have this whole mindset of being global, and I'm glad I'm seeing more people be that. And I want that, I have friends who are musicians who literally, like, even right now, there's somebody that I know who's in Italy. Like, he retired in the early 50s, and he is in a blues band. But right now, yeah, he's in Italy right now. Right now. And he'll come back in a couple of weeks and just be chilling. And that's the kind of life I want. That sounds awesome to me. Play some music, travel the world, see the things, enjoy people's space. When I was performing more often, I would meet people from around at least around the United States. Um, and yeah, that's always been the plan for me. My music partner right now, he said, like, the only reason why he's still working right now at his job is because of the insurance, and he's trying to work on fixing some things operation wise for himself. So again, make the system work for you. That's what I plan on doing. Make the system work for me. So I've always been used to not making a lot of money. I'm making some pretty okay money right now, and I'm not spending it like it's water. I'm saving it. I'm saving it and using it. And if anything, I'm learning how to invest so that I can have something at least keeping me going, right? So yes, that's the thing. We can have this life, y'all. This world is changing. We can have this life. And I usually go to my musician page and once a year tell people what my aspirations are anyway. So that's the accountability piece of it. And this is my version of it for you, my accountability. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and, at least for this channel, I want to have more growth. I'm going to write it down for this channel. Right now I got some good numbers for what it is. I want to make the 1,000 mark. Okay, writing that down. I know I might have to take some steps to do that. So probably do some more research on marketing and SEO. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, I want to make the 1,000 subscribers mark. So I like that this is a more spiritual channel, personal development type channel, because it helps me. This is almost like a big journal. And even though my numbers are low, and I got a lot of videos, and I wish more people would be watching them, but I'm not downhearted that they're not necessarily watching them now, but they will. So you got to start somewhere, right? You just can't be like, oh, nobody's watching this video, I'm going to stop. It's like, learn the system, y'all. Learn the game, learn the rules, and then play them, okay? So I've been doing the, researching on the marketing and promotion and SEO, but I feel like I need to do a little more and actually start doing them. Things like adjusting thumbnails, probably joining some groups, at least for what you call it, YouTube growth, those kind of channels. Uh, and yeah, I mean, that's not hard to do, y'all. It's really not. There are people who just spend hours upon hours on hours scrolling through social media. And I've been kind of, even though I don't watch TV so much anymore, I do, I'm not gonna lie. When I get home, I get tired. I'm like, oh, I just want to, see what everybody else is doing. Because one benefit of what I do during the day, I don't have access to my phone to just sit around just looking at my phone all day. I'm working, Um, so there's that. This is manageable to me. Put it into action. I last year I had a planner, a written planner. I feel like this year I also use my Google Calendar. Speaking of planners, so I have a calendar here that I'm actually gonna, when I get off of here, start putting in things like festivals that as a musician I want to be doing and putting together. Last night, Saturday night. So yeah, instead of going out partying on a Saturday night, it's January, y'all. I'm cold. So I wrote a proposal and sent it off last night. I'm gonna do some more research on some other things, do my administrative work around my bands. I mean, it is not as hard as most people think. It's just you actually have to do it. You got to do it. You got to name it and do it. Lay it out, right? So, yeah. Something I wrote down after listening to like an Abraham Hicks video is like, you can't have an unhappy journey to the happy ending. But they, as in people in these movies, TV shows, they always show the struggle, and the struggle is so hard and this and that. It's like the struggle, we even say, I used to say this, the struggle is real. I'm like, you know what? The struggle is what's supposed to toughen you up so that when you get there, you can appreciate what you got, okay? How about that? The struggle is real. Is only real because you want it to be real. Struggle means you want to suffer. We only suffer because we want to. Things happen, setbacks happen, failures happen, things explode happen, okay? But again, take those L's, reframe it, take those L's, and see how you can tweak it, adjust it, make it better, right? You tweak it, adjust it, make it better. Keep going. The only way you're going to fail is if when you quit completely, or you don't try anything, or you just keep doing the same old, expecting something different to happen. Okay? We are in a whole new I'm trying to find the right wording for this. I feel like we are in a informational technology revolution. If there's a revolution to be had, we are in this informational technology revolution. Like right now, you're watching me give you information through some technology. I don't know where you are right now. You could be in Singapore for all I know. I'm in the United States. Do you see what I'm saying here? Nothing is impossible. The whole fact that you're sitting here watching me right now is proof of that. Okay? So, I like I said, I want to end this here. I want to, say goodbye to, those who are watching. And I am going to put the link for the manifestation calendar in the description, not necessarily the chat, because like I said, I don't do the chat thing. I don't know why I don't like leaving it up, but I just don't. But yeah, we all deserve to get what we want. This universe is infinite, okay? we have got to get away from this whole mindset of what they call dog eat dog. It's a hard knock life and this and that. It's like, dude, all you got to do is say you want this, work it out, get it done. Okay. And then, like I said, Halisi this afternoon, I already have heard this, and I'm glad that she said it again in her live. That if you're gonna fail forward. That's what taking the L's are. Learn those lessons. Take whatever you think or thought was a failure, what other people around you, if you told them what is a failure. Oh, that didn't work. Haha, see, I told you you were no good. Don't listen to those people. In fact, don't tell them anything. They don't need to know your business. Dude, okay, so look, I do want to give you another story time really quick. So again, singer-songwriter, I did a South by Southwest showcase, an official one, okay? So I think now, I don't know what year South by Southwest is at this point, but mine was in 2011, and who I was at the time, Nerd Queen, pretty hot. I was a rising star, babe. But anyway, so I got my official showcase, and I went on social media and told my, friends out there, other musician friends, like, oh, I've got this showcase at South. I'm going to Austin, and it's gonna be awesome, and this and that. I was so broke, but I also needed money, so I was like trying to figure out how to raise money. But I actually had one of my friends say, oh, well, you're just gonna be in a parking lot, playing in a parking lot. I was like, no, dear, I actually have a showcase in a hotel. See, he didn't know that, but yet he was projecting his fears and his Debbie Donnie Doubter, mentality onto me. I was like, it's already done. It's like, you're trying to badmouth me? See, this is the kind of life that I live, where I'm like, y'all, I don't let these other little trivial things get to me, because I don't know. I've never been a follower. I've never been somebody who needed people to accept me because they didn't from the first place. And I'm okay with me. Now, there are other things that, yeah, I need to still work on. I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything, but when it comes to achieving a thing that might look impossible, I can get it done, okay? I've been doing it. And all I want to do is share it with other people. Bought this house when I was 25. It's about to be paid off, y'all. I was making $9 an hour, y'all. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I can get these things done. Actually, yeah, last year I was looking at new houses. I don't want to sell this one, of course not, because it's about to get paid off. But I'm just saying, again, it's an interesting world that we live in. It's a vast world we live in. Okay? Fail forward. Fail forward. Okay? If a 25-year-old making $9 an hour can buy a house, and almost 20 years later have it paid off, not even making $100,000 a year, never, even right now, I'm making under $100,000 a year. I'm about to pay this house off. You can do it too. You can do whatever it is you want. Okay? You make it work. All right. So I'll link the calendar, the manifestation calendar out there. And I feel like I want to do something like this. Now, maybe not this long. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm trying to think maybe what day of the week might be best. I don't know if Monday's best. There's some things I tend to watch on Mondays. But yeah, there are things on Mondays I tend to watch, and I want to see it. And like I said, tomorrow I'm going to go do this interview with this person I know. But yeah, I'll keep you in touch. I don't necessarily do fancy schmancy kind of stylized videos, I prefer live. It just works out a little bit better. Yeah. And with that, yeah, it's almost 10. It's almost time for me to get ready to go to bed. Because I do wake up at 4:30 in the morning. So, because look, I keep myself energized up. And that's another thing. When you manifest, you got to be ready for this out here. You live your life on purpose, okay? This is what I mean by living your life on purpose. Not by default. Not by, because I caught myself. Like, I was getting some good pay. I was getting some things. Like, I was like, wow, okay, I don't have to work so hard, but that doesn't mean to stop. It doesn't mean to just rest on your, whatever you got, the little treat that they dangled in front of you, and just be okay with that. Like, yeah, I got a bonus this year, tenured bonus, and quite honestly, getting a house paid off is a big thing. So that's for me, like, why am I working a full-time job when I don't have to? I've got other skills out here, I don't have to, do all that stuff. But anyway, with that, take care. If you stuck with me, I hope you're subscribed. I hope you tell other people. Like, I try to blend spirituality with practicality, okay? There are people out there that they'll say all the words. And let me show you what I put here on my Post-it. So this is, like I said, my inner work journal that I've had for a while. Who do I need to become the... Yeah, I'm not going to read the rest of that. That's personal. But anyway, develop emotional intelligence. That might be the next video, because you're going to be dealing with some struggle, as in obstacles. I don't want to say struggle. Okay? You are going to be dealing with, and yeah, I'll make a thing for this. I'll put it on the community thing. You're going to be dealing with L's. Okay? You just need to know how to handle them and keep it moving. Okay? This is what I teach the little kids. School is different in this day and age. Okay? But anyway, emotional intelligence. You gotta have it. You gotta have the resilience. You gotta be able to push back against, or not even push back. Like that guy yesterday, I was like, once I realized like where he was mentally and probably emotionally, I was like, look, he's not gonna get it. It's like you can offer him all the tools in the world, but it's not gonna happen for him. So yeah, so if you really want to move past all of that, then that will be the next long live video. Okay? And yeah, and with that, Happy New Year, y'all. Get her done, okay? Make it so.